Narcissist, the Nanny. I'm Sarah, the nanny to the Hovenier family. I have been working for them for a couple of years. I took over from the previous nanny, Bryony. I understand she went away to university, so the Hoveniers needed to replace her. I had hoped that she would have been able to do a handover with me, tell me what to expect, and the ins and the outs. But that didn't happen. Mrs. Hovenier, Ashley, said that Bryony had not stood by her notice period. I started off looking after their daughter, Amelia. I would need to be at the house for 7:30 a.m. Fortunately, I don't live too far away, so that is easy enough, and I was there to take Amelia to her school because her parents needed to be at work and didn't really have the time to take her. The traffic to the school can be problematic heading into town, and they both work in directions away from the town, so it made sense not to drive into town only to get stuck. Whilst Amelia was in school, Ashley would then use me like a personal assistant. She would be texting me, asking me to pick up dry cleaning for her, nip to the delicatessen to purchase something, or select flowers from the florist. I thought I would have been given time to prepare after-school activities for Amelia, since I would be the one who would pick her up from school and be with her, to feed her and to entertain her, etc., until whatever time her parents would arrive home from work, which was rarely before 6:30 p.m. and often as late as 10 p.m. But instead, Ashley preferred to have me running around for her. Not quite what I expected, but she is the boss, and believe me, she is the boss. Mr. Hovenier, Peter, doesn't really have much to do with the household. He's always been fine with me, never really says much to me actually, just the usual good morning, if he is there when I am. There are times when he's already left for his work, and asking how Amelia's behaviour has been. He's not a warm person. I cannot work it out if he's shy or standoffish. He's difficult to read. It is Ashley who gives me my instructions. I think she takes too much on, and I can kind of understand why Peter gets annoyed with her. I do not think I have known anybody so unpunctual. She never turns up when she says she will. There have been occasions where Peter has had me stay with Amelia whilst he has been on the phone to his wife asking where she is because they are due to go to a dinner party or such like. When that happens, he always calls her from the study, but I still hear him shouting at her. Sometimes I have actually had to stay at the house with Amelia whilst Peter has driven off somewhere to find her. Amelia acts far older than her 8 years of age. She is a chip off the block that is Ashley, talks like her, behaves like her, and has the same mannerisms. She's a bright girl and very sweet. There is something about her that I cannot put my finger on, though. At times, she doesn't react to certain things in a way that a child would. It's as if she thinks, this again, and she just gets on with reading or drawing a picture. More recently, I've been more involved because of Christopher's arrival. That means I have to be at the house at 7 a.m. to look after him. Ashley has started to take Amelia to school a little more often, or arranges for another of the mothers from the school to give her a lift. I then spend all day with Christopher, and then collect Amelia from school and deal with them both, feeding them, keeping them entertained, looking after them, etc., until Peter and Ashley return. He sometimes comes back and explains that he has work to do and disappears into the study, so I have to stay with the children still. Those can be long days. He seems very hard-working and rather obsessed with his work. Ashley is far friendlier, often putting the kettle on for a pot of tea and asking me to stay so we can chat whilst the children play together. It is odd, though, because although she is always polite and friendly, I never feel like there is any warmth from her. I grew up in a very close family. I still live with my parents, and the Hovenier household often feels like 4 people who all just happen to live there and don't really connect with one another. I mean, Christopher is too young, obviously, but Amelia and her parents behave as if they are in their own worlds at times, and they see and hear one another in the same house, but do not really engage with one another. I don't really know how to explain it. There is something a little odd about the household, almost as if it's fake, and there is something else going on which nobody else is allowed to know about. When I have a conversation with Ashley, I also feel like I am being quizzed, asking me what I think of Peter, asking me if he had been back at the house while she's been away at work, and similar questions. I started to wonder if she thought there was something going on between me and him. No way! Ugh! He's way too old, and I'm not attracted to him in the slightest. Maybe she thinks he's been eyeing me up or something, because I'm a young, not an attractive girl, and there's the cliché, of course, about the master of the house sleeping with the help. If he has been eyeing me up, I've never noticed. Talking about other things going on, of course, there has been the recent upheaval with the pair of them splitting up and Peter moving out. They have both spoken to me separately about this, no joint approach by them, which is unsurprising. Peter explained that his wife has had another of her meltdowns and has been conducting another affair behind his back, which has meant, for the sake of his sanity, he needed to move out. He apologised for the additional workload this would place on me, and explained that he would pay me an extra £100 a week to make up for the inconvenience, and asked that I keep him informed about comings and goings at the house. I had no idea what he was referring to, until one evening I was introduced to this man called Ian Wynne. I thought he was just a friend of Ashley's, somebody she knew from work, but it turns out that she has been having an affair with him. I have had very little to do with him. He's polite and friendly. In fact, I think at times he's felt a little bit awkward being at the house, but Ashley was perfectly happy, acting as if he'd been part of the furniture for ages. She just carried on as usual. Ashley told me that she had had enough of Peter's behaviour and that she needed him to leave. I didn't ask what she meant by his behaviour. I mean, I have heard them rowing, and there are times where they talk to one another through me, which makes me feel uneasy. But beyond that, I'm unsure what she meant. Of course, I'm not there all the time, although I am at that house more than they are, funnily enough, so who knows what goes on really. But I'm more concerned about the children in all of this. I worry what the effect of the split will have on them. So far, Amelia does not seem bothered at all. And of course Christopher, bless him. He's just so young, too young to know what is going on. Of course, both Peter and Ashley have been angling for me to go and nanny exclusively for one another, and they keep asking if he or she has asked me to do the same for them, and that leaves me caught in the middle between them, something that has happened a lot recently. I adore the children, I truly do, and I only want the best for them. And it pains me to say this, but I have been discussing it with my parents, because the situation they put me in isn't a very pleasant one, and it seems to me, and my father agrees with this, that they're asking me to do things that go beyond normal nannying. So I think it might be time for me to move on, because I cannot see things improving between Ashley and Peter.